All right, guys, once again, welcome to another wonderful Professional Goblins podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Scott, and with me, as always, is
Myler. Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
and the always fantastic.
Savanna Broadway, and this is my co-pilot Pelly.
Good.
I think she's pleased to be here.
Let's say good chirping on cue there, Pelly.
Yeah.
And today we are honored to have Indi Martin on.
Hello.
Hey, Indi. So we know who you are. Your fantastic art is legendary.
Well, thank you.
And but these people may not. So tell them who you are, how wonderful you are, and why they should worship at your feet.
That is all right. I will do my best. I'm I always describe myself as a freelance fantasy artist, but I do pretty much whatever anybody wants to pay me for art-wise, as all freelancers do.
I'm really glad you said art-wise there.
Yeah,
That's a very different
art
profession.
or I do get paid for editing and writing occasionally too. So yeah, truly anything creative that anyone wants to pay me for, I will do.
Hey man, that's living the dream. Sort of.
So yeah, I've worked with Mike for about, I guess, 5 years now, I think.
Oh
I
God,
think
how do you
5
stand it?
years? Oh, 5 years sounds really long. Have I been doing this 5 years?
It might be 4. I don't know. It was at the
It's been a while.
Con, and it's been at least 3 years since I've done that. Maybe
So it's
4.
been at least 3 years, for sure. I don't know. My ability for time is not amazing, but yeah, I've been dragging Indy around for all my projects because she's amazing to work with. So
I'm happily riding Mike's coattails. I will continue to do so for as long as possible.
His checkered bathrobe coattails.
I think it's more of like a pig pen situation, and you're just like caught in the dust cloud as I move forward.
Oh, okay.
But rose-colored glasses, whatever.
Sure.
It's all good.
So, for you guys who don't know, if you're just tuning in, why haven't you tuned in earlier? We have a bit of a formatted show. This show is split into a bunch of different sections, the first of which is a story about a game that we're either currently playing in or a kind of a story from a game where we learned a lesson. And we kind of go through this until we're all exhausted or want to kill each other, or we just have run out of time. So, Mike, do you want to...
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Indy, do you want to go for your game story first? You want to have someone else lead in?
I am definitely going to let somebody else start.
Okay. Smart move.
So, do you guys want to hear about Generalissimo Tuck Underbarrow or the Space Oyster extraction?
Space Oyster, because we've definitely heard about Generalissimo at least once before.
Okay. I do love...
I second the Space Oyster. This sounds like a typical Mike shenanigan.
So, my buddy Nick, who is a great guy, he wrote Into the Veil and he's in a pirate band and all these other things. Anyway, he ran Starfinder for us the other week, and so I got to play my first proper game.
Oh wow!
And,
Finally.
yes, finally. It was all homebrewed stuff that he maybe didn't read the system as well as he should have, because the stuff we fought was super deadly. So what did we do? I had a mechanic, rat person, pre-gen, and then I think Kenneth was playing a robot, something, an android envoy or something like that. I can't remember exactly what. Anyway, we got to the planet and we looked around, and there was this abandoned station, so we did some shit, and this space oyster comes by, and we're like, oh shit, a space oyster. So we hide from it and then leave. So then we go through and we restore most of the station, and then we rig it. So we do a little exploring, we find another thing, we find some survivors or some shit. They're like, the space oysters are like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. We just came to find out what happened here, and we're gonna leave soon. And then we used the rigged power, the rigged relay station to draw the space oysters back, and then we blew one of them the fuck up, and then more of them came to investigate, and I suicided my rat guy, diverting their fire so that the robot dude could take the ship and stick a fishing hook basically into the guts of one of the killed space oysters so they could take it away because they're alien hunters. So
Mike,
It's pretty good.
I just want to say that it is quite like awesome and like I don't know, it's like belongs in a genre film. Just like Mike sitting there like taking a drag and a cigarette. All right, I'm gonna tell you about this time we killed space oysters.
They were all like, well, maybe your character doesn't die because he hit me with this lightning attack that was just like 22 or some points of damage, which is way more hit points than a first level Starfinder character has. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? No, that was the whole plan. Get that thing and get the fuck out of there. Like right now, take that survivor. I will play that survivor the next time we play and we'll give him a name and stuff. So now instead of just being Jockey, he's Jacques Key, and he is like a noble envoy. Yes. So yeah, Space Oyster Extraction. And next time we play, I will let you know how that goes.
Just real quick, guys, please let me know if the quality has improved. I know it was a little bit laggy for a second. Anyway, I'm just making sure that I'm seeing if this computer how much more it's gonna take. It may be at its limit here. Tell me it's flashing.
Poor baby.
Savanna, Indy, either you guys want to go? You want to force me to go?
I'll go ahead and go. I have a
Okay.
really quick. This is not current, unfortunately. I've moved around a lot in the last decade, so I don't have a current gaming group.
That's fine.
But my favorite introduction to the last campaign that I ran, I ran my characters. I told the players that they needed to go and check out this house that was infested with cats, and they were all like, "This is going to be dumb. I don't want to fight cats. That's horrible." And so they get up to the house and they look over the cute little white picket fence, and there's cats just lounging around, perfectly happy-looking pet cats. So the first one goes up to the gate, and it's the paladin character. He's a big tank, and he's like, I'll take care of this. And so he opens the gate and he just disappears. And I tell him to calm down and not say anything, and we don't know what's happened to you right now. And I let the other players freak out for a little while. Anyway, it turns out eventually, once enough of them go through the gate, that they're in this house with a displacer beast, and which is way too high for them, and they really need to go through and find this little totem that will get rid of the portal between the house and this displacer beast's realm. So that was my favorite introduction to a campaign that I've ever done, and that's pretty much the only little story I have to tell.
Yeah, no, that's badass. I could see it turning into sort of like a horror-esque game where it's like, okay, the displacer beast is around, it's gonna kick your ass if it finds you.
It was a lot of fun to set the scene for the inside of the house, because of course once he appeared at the back of the house, and instead of this cute little adorable gingerbread facade that I described to him before, suddenly it's this ruined Lovecraftian hellscape of a house.
I thought for sure you're gonna be like, and then like as soon as they cross the threshold, they're inside this room full of kittens, and they fail their saves, and like the paladin was just like rolling on around on the ground with cats. So that went in a very different direction than what I expected.
Either sounds pretty awesome.
So I have a story. I think it's been on the list for a long time.
Is it the Evangelist Troll?
You want the Evangelist Troll or the Batman game we played?
Evangelist Troll.
Okay, so God, that's an old one. So I played Shadowrun at one point, and it was my first time playing Shadowrun. I was in college. It was like, I think we started the game about 10 p.m. and we went all night, and I think we finished up, and I think there may have been drinking, but not on my part. But anyway, I'd been reading through the rule book, and people have been talking about the Sims and everything, like the video Sims, the full sense ones. What are those called? You know what I'm talking about?
Sim chips?
Yeah, the Sim chips.
Yeah.
So I decided that my troll had grown up, in, as one does, as a backwater hick who was really addicted to Sim chips. And his family was kind of Bible thumpers. And the only real ones they had were like evangelist preachers. So my troll would run around, and he was about as, he ran around with I think he had a shotgun. Man, that explains Boomstick a lot. Anyway,
yeah,
he had a
I'm
lot
seeing
of
a
guns.
trend.
He was just your average, he was the muscle for the group, as trolls are, and he would run around preaching the word of God to everybody in the world, and everyone was just like losing their shit over him until they realized that he was addicted to The Sims. And he didn't really actually have faith, and the actual guy in the group who had faith was like really quiet about it and like genuine, and it was actually a really interesting like relationship between the two characters, talking about like there's a guy who's like actual real world Christian person, like I don't know if he was out of the game, and the guy who believes in TV stuff, and I'm like, man, this is topical. And anyway, we end up going to like a place, and we had just completed a job, and I had an absurd amount of money, and so of course, where does one go? Goes to the black market stim shop, and you know what they have for sale? Baby Eater 4.
Oh no!
And he gets stuck playing Baby Eater 4 for like a day and a half, and he keeps being unable to leave the game. The Decker has to go in and save him and like pull him out. And yeah, he was a very different character when he came out of that. But yeah, he was the TV evangelist troll. He just kind of ran around like losing his shit and preaching the word of God in the most gospelly inappropriate way you can be. Do not fear the shotgun, for it is the shotgun of the Lord, and you will embrace the bullets. And he just could not do like anything right, and he was kind of magical, and it was a one shot, and I kind of wished it wasn't. But yeah, that's a TV evangelist troll I've had on that list for like, what is it, 10 episodes now?
I've been waiting for the story for literally months. I feel satisfied.
Okay, I'm glad.
All right, so for mine, do I do Doc Farley from Dredd, or do I talk about Kalira the Hummingbird Prince?
I think the first one sounds good.
Yeah,
You've mentioned the Hummingbird Prince before.
So, my Call of Cthulhu group is actually going to be doing kind of a Weird West thing. And so in order to set the mood for our annual Halloween Dredd, we did a game set in that same town that we were planning to play in. And I played Doc Farley. He was in from Kansas City, and he's out in this, little, 30-person mining town that's trying to turn into a boomtown. And so it was interesting because whenever you fill out your Dredd character sheet, it's essentially a questionnaire. And it's like, okay, so you're in this town, far away from Kansas City. Why are you here? And the longer I filled it out, the more messed up this character got. And so he was a morphine addict. He was an alcoholic. He was something else.
Sounds like a standard, rich white guy from the late 1800s.
Yeah, and he was addicted to watching people die from poison.
Oh, so he'd get along right.
So an urban guy from the late 1800s with well-to-do. Yeah. Okay.
And that's why he was that's why he wasn't in Kansas City anymore, because one too many people died mysteriously. And so I spent the entire, I established very early on that the doc was a morphine addict, and I spent the entire stinking game trying to poison someone, and it didn't work. But the thing is that no one suspected me, because every time I started slowly pulling out a needle, they thought I was just shooting up. It's like, oh, an unconscious person, don't worry, I'll take care of them while you go. And they wake up, and I'm like, needle. And they're like, oh no, doc, I don't need any morphine. I'm like, oh yes, of course. No morphine. So by the end of the game, he ended up seeing some weird eldritch fucked up shit, and ended up deciding that his debt was repaid, and he was going off to San Francisco, where he could actually murder people, because it's real hard to serial kill people in a town of 30.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
People tend to notice. He wasn't ready for challenge mode. He just wants some easy pickings. But yeah, it creeped everybody out in retrospect. I'm like, no, I was totally going to poison you.
Well, that's a great segue for our next topic, which is our favorite working projects.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to continue to talk about the Book of Exalted Darkness because I'm still writing it.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I think at this
Myler effect has taken hold.
It has taken hold, yeah. I want to say we're at 210,000 words or something like that. But it's an awful lot. And I'm in the bestiary chapter. I'm like more than halfway done with the Celestial Heroes now. So I have Tucker's build, I have Darius's build, and Lelwyn's build, and Mistral's build, and Gruck's build. Excuse me. So I have to do Rankir and Gimli and Varys. Motherfucker. And who's the last one? Who am I forgetting? Oh my god. How could you forget? Oh, Tapper. And then I don't know. What's your image situation, Scott? You still can't share them, right?
No, not right now.
Okay. Well, Indy here did all of the custom artwork for the book. So you got to hear me talk about the book and how cool it is that we're making stuff to play evil characters like a serial killer in a small town, but not talk about the art so much. So yeah, Indy, tell us about the Book of Exalted Darkness from an artist's perspective.
Yeah, we don't get artist perspectives nearly enough on here.
Sure. Well, so we can't share any pictures. This is audio.
I've got like 5 of them in the Google Doc that I'll share to people in the Twitch chat stream.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was really excited about this project. Mike approached me about it early last year, very early. He tends to approach me several months in advance of whatever he's going to need art for, which is great because then it kind of plants the seed in my mind and I start thinking about that. And the thing he told me about that had me jazzed the most was he said it was going to be a Deco punk setting.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, he described that to me as a sort of an alternate history concept like steampunk or diesel punk, but Art Deco inspired. So everything's got the aestheticism of the 1920s, 1930s high Art Deco type cities and fashion of the time and everything. So it was really exciting for me because one thing that I don't feel that I'd concentrated enough in past projects was on costume design, specifically for campaigns or campaign settings like this that had a specific theme. And so for this, I was really excited to be able to tackle incorporating Art Deco, especially architectural elements in the costumes of the characters and incorporating those hairstyles and those senses of fashion from that era into the pictures, the pretty pictures.
The best example of that in the chat window or in the Goblins document is Tapper Underknoll, the gnome ranger guy. Like you just like nailed. It's like you took Kirby's Old Gods and you just like fit it perfectly with fantasy, and he just like rolled out of a 1920s speakeasy.
Thank you. I love Tapper. Hold on, let me pull him up so I can look at him again.
So good.
I love Tapper. Everything really came together with him. I was really happy. I found a new brush. One of the things that I think was really holding me back in a lot of previous projects was my lack of familiarity with Photoshop brushes. I'm still not terrifically great at using anything other than a standard hard and a standard round brush, but that gives everything like an airbrushed feel, which is great, was great for when I learned to hand paint metal. Because the biggest lesson I got from the Book of Exalted Darkness, other than to ramp up my costume designs, was how to hand paint shiny chromed metal of all.
Yeah, I was just saying in the chat room that their gold is like killer at this point.
Thank you.
We can't share the cover yet. Savannah's seen the cover. The
It's
luster on the
awesome.
cover is insane.
No,
I
it's real
can't
good.
wait. I'm really proud of that.
I know.
But yeah, Tapper, everything came together on him. The Art Deco elements in his costumes. There's cutouts that are very Art Deco, but it's not super in your face about it. It still feels really natural. So yeah, I'm real happy with him.
Let me see. What are the other ones we got here? The Acid Elemental, which was a cool reworking that you did. I just like that one a lot.
Wait,
Which one? Oh, the Acid Elemental.
wait, Mike,
Yeah,
what the hell did you see? Yeah, I thought you said ass elemental. I'm like,
No,
really?
Acid Elemental. Acid Elemental is a totally different book. We will get there. It's called Mania on Mantixies.
Yeah, I haven't. I am working for the Book of Passion. They haven't sent me all of the pieces I might be doing, so maybe there is an ass elemental in there.
That's same Mike. I mean, we almost put the poop golem in Operation Nazi Smashers. So, I mean, the poop golem has to come from somewhere.
It probably would have been one of Indy's Luho, actually, just for a totally different book. The ooze guys from Varanthia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they would make great shit people if I just tinted them brown.
There you go.
One thing Mike's really good at is making me learn new textures, which I'm thankful for. I mean, if it wasn't for freelance stuff, I wouldn't have nearly the sort of wide base of knowledge as I do, as far as, because of Varanthia, I'm able to paint certain things. Book of Exalted Darkness, definitely the metals, and
You did a great job with the fur, and your blood improved a lot too. And I'm always asking, like, you should have
Things
like,
that
do you just tally
should
it
not
every
be heard
time?
out
I'm
of
like,
context.
can I have more blood? Like, because what would that be, like 70 times that I've been like, hey, more blood, please.
I'd say it's a good 30% of the pieces come back. Can we just add, I don't know, a little more?
At some point, Indy, you'll just have to do it like Evil Dead, like gore everywhere, and just sit there like, is it enough now?
He'll still say no.
There was a piece where you tried that with the dude in the Wasteland, the Trago Trainbeard, the
Oh yeah, I added so much blood to that, and I was like, surely this will be enough. It was no.
Yeah, but Mike's contrary like that, so there's some things you just can't do.
Oh.
He is.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I will totally admit, Mike, you are my hardest client, but you're also the one that I feel like I level up on projects the most. So I really appreciate projects. But by hardest, I mean you ask. Your stuff is always very challenging and extremely unique. Like, I have nothing to pull from when. Okay, so here's a great example in the Varanthia Celestials. Who was the character that ended up with the Jabberwock?
Elaith, the god of orcs.
Yeah, so I was really proud of this guy's character design. I gave him this crazy, I don't even know, a cape, I guess. It was sort of a cape shoulder thing. Anyway, it came down into a bear's head in the front. No, at his belt buckle, I think, was supposed to be a bear's head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm really proud of this. He came back and he goes, that's great, but I don't have any sort of bear mythology. You know what I do have mythology for is Jabberwocks. Can you make a Jabberwock? I'm like, I have no idea. Okay, I'll try, I guess. So yeah, I'm always very
Jabberwocks. They're very similar.
Very close.
Good. Looks good.
Actually, that's something I can talk about. The really good segue, weirdly.
All right.
So I'm working on this thing for Starfinder. It started off as a like. Wait, Mike, are you done? No, keep going.
People in the Twitch chat room got to look at the Purpura scene, which I feel is worth talking about.
How many of Jabberwockies though?
Can you guys open the document? Scott, have you seen this thing yet?
I
know Savannah's seen
I can open things on my phone right now.
I've probably seen
one monitor here.
That's the one with our Smurfs knockoffs being tortured.
Oh yes, the perps.
Yeah, the perps. So this was just like the one piece where I felt was like, let's just be as evil as humanly possible, and you killed it, Indy. You killed it.
Yeah,
I mean figuratively and visually.
Yeah.
I want to say the brief was you just asked you wanted a torture room with as many Purpura being tortured in as horrible ways as possible.
And then you set it up, and I was like, can I please have a plate with a little food and a fork? Can I please have a plate with a little food and a fork? It could go right there, or it could go right there, or it could go over here.
Oh no.
We finally got everything in there, though.
You did, yeah.
My favorite one is still the partial amputees. Like, I don't know where I got that idea, but
yeah,
they little dolls to me, and I don't know. It's
the guy in the middle shelf is just like the vacancy of his look is perfect. Like
Here, Mike, put it in the hangout chat, and Nick will pull it up.
Oh, all right. Well, no, I don't want to share it in the hangout. Well, I mean, I guess it is a huge URL, and you probably are dying to see it because it's pretty dope. Let me see.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but
I don't think I've shared it with you before.
Yeah, see why the Book of Exalted Darkness was not done through Pathfinder.
Yes, that is why we did not do it through Pathfinder. So
I think people can see this. I hope people can see this.
If they can't, that's fine.
Purple
I don't want to
people
share that
eating
one too
and
much. I
you.
just wanted to share it because, like, I wanted to talk about it, and it would be so mean to talk about it and not share it. So.
Yeah, most of the Exalted Darkness pieces were floating characters, but there were a handful of these scenes, and they were all awesome and challenging and very different than anything I'd ever done. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're all good. Yeah, the Sanguine Razor Storm and the Naqua Chariots and the Refacina. Refacina is so hard because like trying to actually make it another dimension's really easy. You just say, oh, there's rolling hills and they go on forever, and the sun never goes down or whatever. But to actually make it feel like really cool and like it should have been a place this whole time, and maybe has been a place this whole time, is extremely difficult. And I think that the art piece nailed it. I think I'll be able to supplement that with good copy, but yeah. Anyway,
project. Looking forward to the next one.
Scott, tell us about your segue.
Oh yeah, so remind me of the Jabberwockies. I swear I'll get to it. So we're working on this thing called. It started off as Scott Wright Space Marines, but for Starfinder, and it ended up as something completely weird and different. It was this thing called the Muthian Dragoons, who are basically disembodied. There's this big the lore behind it, which you can use or not use at all, is there's a bunch of dragons, and these are like elder deity level dragons, who all got killed defending the darkness. And yes, you can define the darkness as whatever you want, but their caretakers, all killed, were resurrected by their sacrifice. And now these guys basically inhabit armor as kind of ghostly embodiments of the Wrath of Muth, and they run around the universe as basically do-goody paladin-y soldiers. Well, other people figured out how to do it, so now there's lots and lots and lots of them. It's a little weird, but roll with it. So we've been working on that book for a long time, and playtesting the hell out of it. That's the one from last week where we were talking about Boomstick meets the Dragoons.
I have one question.
Sure.
Are the Darkness still making music in the far future?
It's the real questions.
Let's say, we actually have a paragraph talking about, hey, look, the Darkness is intentionally left vague. You can make it whatever you want. So I choose to believe it's the band. That's canonical now.
They're just like fucking robots, like back in Futurama. They're just the jar in the head, and they just go on stage and like play harmonicas and shit.
So
That's
we
real
basically got to make like orders based on different types of dragons and dragon adjacent things. So all the Muthian orders are all dragons, and the non-Muthian orders, which are the ones that came later, are all not dragons, or most of them are. And I got to write the Jabberwocky order. And the Jabberwocky order is written in nonce.
Contender? Oh.
It's entirely like in nonce, written, and it talks about, what is it? Cleaning your vepid nidley. And it's part of your oath. You have to clean your vepid nidley.
That seems imperative to me. I mean, why bother be part of the order if you're not gonna? And
there's actually a section on the end like, hey man, what does this mean? How do I use this as rules? And it's like, look, talk with your GM and tell the GM what you think this should be, and come to a consensus and just be like, this is what I think it means. All right, man, I'm gonna go do it.
Hey, y'all gotta take care of that vepid nidley.
Yeah, man, it's very vepid.
Indeed.
We got Nation Washburn. We had him on the show a while back. I got him to do the cover for it. He's like, hey guys, it's almost Christmas. Does anyone need art? I need a little extra money. And I'm just like, he tags me. I'm like, bro, yes. So the inspiration for the cover was based on you guys know the cover for the old game Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on that cover, and it's pretty magical. I'm pretty psyched. I'm gonna see if I can get really.
It's like a dude. You're looking up at a guy with like a combat helmet, gas visor thing, shooting a bunch of demons as he's like standing on the ruins of some like stone blocks.
Yep. Yeah, we're working on
that. A lot
that.
of red on the bottom.
I'm working that. We didn't have as much blood, which Indy, we might have to call you in as a pinch hitter to just add a bunch of blood.
More blood, man. Always.
Blood consultant.
More blood for the blood god.
Blood consultant. Blood consultant.
Is that the new title you're shooting for, Mike? Are you the blood god now?
What? No.
At least he's not the god of change, so like his editors would hate him more.
Changer of ways, but it's fine.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're working on. We just put out a bundle that's like everything we released this year, which was 20 products. We released 20 fucking products. Holy cow. And anyways, we released that for $25. It's literally, it was crazy. It was, but if you total up all the prices, it was $99.81 or something.
Did I release this?
And we're like, wow, we got close to like $100 there. That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, I think we're gonna leave it here
Awesome.
for the year and just I'll be formatting things until the 1st, and then we'll see if we can beat ourselves next year with good quality products.
There we go.
But yeah, that's about it. Savanna, I know you said you were kind of not taking on any new things, but anything come to mind?
Not currently. Going to be trying to dive back into Lake of Blood for Right Publishing here soon, so that's a thing. Speaking of blood consultants, actually, this is actually a very coherent episode. I appreciate it.
I like it. Thematic cohesion.
Yes, it's very important.
Okay, I only released 16 products this year.
Yeah, but you think you released bigger ones than us this year?
Oh yeah, I always release big products. I refuse. Well, no, I've released small ones too, but they're always free if they're small.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nazi Smasher wasn't gigantic.
That's almost 100 pages if you count all the pawns.
So all of our alt path ones were really big, but we did have some 20-pagers, I think. So
that print though, son, I don't know. This next year I gotta get on actual distribution and get into Studio 2 and stuff. Especially Book of Exalted Darkness. Whew. All right, so Savanna, do you have one?
No, she just said she didn't.
I
okay.
right through my
I completely spaced out.
Yep. No, a whole lake of blood. Is that enough for you, Mike?
A lake of blood?
A lake of blood.
I mean, can't I have a sea of blood?
And where do you think where do you think the lake feeds into?
Oh, well, okay.
Tributary.
Is there an ocean of blood possible?
It reminds me of the weird trope in Chinese history where if you want to show someone as like debaucherous and corrupt, you talk about how they had a wine lake constructed. For you, it's just a blood lake.
That reminds me of that song from Trigun. La-di-da-di-da, an ocean of blood. Let's begin
I don't remember that
the
one.
killing time. It's the genocide song. You know the genocide song?
I do not know the genocide song.
That was the refrain they kept forcing on in the last like 6 episodes, right?
No. It's
Is this one of the Gerudo gun guys?
No. What happens is at one point Vash has to like act like a badass and protect and like scare everyone. So he's walking through this building and he just starts singing this like song about killing people and genocide and stuff, and then people like crap their pants.
I don't remember that.
I'll
have to watch Dragon again.
Dude, I went back and watched it a bunch of episodes recently. It's still
fucking holds up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My
Trigon's
first cosplay was of Nicholas D. Wolfwood. My Jewish mother was very concerned that I had a giant 6-foot cardboard cross that was quite flammable.
Yeah, I have a friend who used to do Wolfwood.
There we go.
I went around one Otakon with I was the guy. I went around with this church donation box, like saying, you put some people's heads. Yeah. Anyway, favorite new project that is not ours, from which we cannot profit.
Yep. Indy, do you have one?
I'm always attracted to art in projects, and so I'm watching this Creature Codex by Kobold Press.
That's what I was going to talk about too. Yeah.
Oh really? I think the art in it that they've shared so far is phenomenal. It's really beautiful stuff.
To kind of piggyback on that, I always, even if I like the product or whatever, I just like click stop seeing posts like this on Facebook when I see ads from them. But I like their art so much, I've just kept it up there so I can see it on my Facebook. I've actually shared it a few times, being like, "Oh, that's a cool D&D image. Oh, wait, that's from the Creature Compendium." So yeah, that's mine too. So, is it done being Kickstarted? I don't. Oh, is that a Kickstarter?
No,
oh,
it's still a Kickstarter right now.
Never mind. Hey, that's a Kickstarter, guys. We should be talking about that in a different section.
Abort!
It's all right.
Back up.
I just had it open. Yeah, it's currently on. It's got 14 days left. It's already well funded, but yeah, definitely get in on it if you like cool art.
Fair.
So I am going to talk about this thing I found today called, I'm not going to do it, but if you have lots of money and you want to, you can go to France to play D&D in a castle for like 4 or 5 days.
Yes. And how much does that cost?
I don't know. Let's go and look. Let's see.
Because my pocketbook is cringing just by
$2,100.
You know, I'm going to point out that for like $100 a person, you could stay for a month in like a beach house in, oh gosh, where was it? It was somewhere tropical.
Northern Bali is really cheap. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say there was somewhere like you and your 10 closest
Not for
friends.
me, but
Mom.
like, if you wanted to, like, I could see a lot of guys or ladies who have like a spouse that really isn't into D&D, and this would be a great way to get yourself 4 days of D&D, and then also like divert away any attention grabbing and stuff that will occur, because that's always what happens to me.
I like you're speaking from something personal, Mike.
Yeah, I would do this if I had, extra money to do it, because it would be a way for me to play D&D 4 days without having to hear Stephanie yell at me about like how I'm playing D&D for 4 days. She's gonna be busy in France.
I'd say my I hate to have the ex-wife story, but my ex-wife was like, we used to always do Pathfinder potlucks, and we'd do like 8-hour sessions of D&D, and she'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna let you do this, but but just so you know, I don't enjoy this." And I'm like, I know. And she tried to get into it, to be fair. She was a wonderful hostess, and she wanted to play hostess. So she got to do that and have people and see everyone be happy and take care of her obnoxious dog. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're rolling around with a lot of money, folks, check it out. Tell me how it goes. James
Invite him.
Deco is going to run stuff, so I'm sure I'll get to hear from him. But
No, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah. All right, Scott, do you have anything?
No, I was going to the Creature Compendium too, so I actually forgot that was a Kickstarter too.
Okay, so Pathfinder and Starfinder. You got heard by my first Starfinder session. I still haven't read any more of the Starfinder book. I will soon, I swear. I'm a little bit peeved because they were supposed to have the Starfinder SRD up like already, like the official one.
Yeah. That's what's kept me from playing it, honestly. Like, the SRD is so good.
They changed it to say from coming in November to coming soon.
Oh, that's ominous.
Eric, that's not a good sign.
Eric is on vacation too, so it's not going to be any. I wanted to come up before Christmas break.
Nope, you're doomed. Doomed.
Well, I'll read it all as soon as it's available there. There's other cool stuff. You can get a 10% off Paizo store until the end of January using the code HOLIDAY18. No spaces. The number 18. Holiday 18.
Why is it Holiday 18?
Holiday 2018.
Oh, it expires It expires next year.
January 31st next year.
Okay, there we go.
Which is like a week
away.
Yeah,
for some reason I saw that as December 31st. I'm like, why would they have a coupon for a year? Makes no sense. Okay. Next year. Okay. Still suspicious, but I'll let it stand.
And then Potions and Poisons came out. So if you are this is one I would pick up if I play Pathfinder on the regular these days. I will maybe get it later. But yeah, new potions, poisons, and stuff for them. I find potions are the most ubiquitous and useful of the magic items you can get in Pathfinder because of wealth scaling. So
yeah, they're pretty useful. The whole max when it caps out, that's kind of nice. I like that.
12 new drugs. That was the one that really hooked me. I like drugs in role-playing games.
Drugs definitely hook you, Mike.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
I had a character that got addicted to Turkish coffee.
I had a character who got addicted to Sims and was an evangelical troll. Oh, wait, I told that story.
My last
Indeed.
Star Wars character was a doctor that was addicted to glitter stims. He's just like rolling around with like a Force adept and a bunch of these bounty hunters, and they'd be like, "We're gonna go do this thing." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be right there." Glitter stims.
Yeah,
I keep the communique on. Yeah.
Felix's problem was that we house ruled that Turkish coffee lowered your wisdom score and upped your dexterity.
Oh.
And his wisdom was already an 8. So he made bad choices faster and more efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. Any other Pathfinder, Starfinder?
No, but if I do play my serial killer doctor, I will in fact look to this for all the ways that I might try to poison my party members.
Kind of related. I know I think I mentioned it before. I am the person maintaining the third-party player option now for Starfinder, and it's tracking everything. Races, themes, archetypes.
Do you have a link for it?
In classes. But
is it just a Paizo thread like the other one?
Yeah, but I'm I'm gonna toss it up on the on a site at some point. But yeah, it's we're flush with races, guys. Published in goddamn classes.
I mean, it's an alien book.
Well,
Hold up.
What?
No. I don't think you have ground for that argument. This is a science fiction game that is specifically about exploration. I don't think that there can be too many aliens. What's the ratio difference?
Oh, it's so outside of ones that are converted, there is a grand total of one race or one base class that is not a
Archetype.
That's not an archetype. It is not a conversion from Pathfinder.
Okay.
Pull it up, and it's like, I think it's almost 100 alien races.
Okay, that sounds fine.
Let's say, I'm not saying here from a numbers perspective. I would like the last in
And how many new what's the themes? How many new themes are there?
I have to pull it up, man. Hang on one sec here.
Because they specifically made this to be a dual leveling kind of thing.
No, I gotcha. But I'm saying we have 1 versus 100, and I think themes is like less than 10.
But you're not talking about Pathfinder. You're talking about Starfinder.
I understand.
So, Indy, do you have any Starfinder opinions?
That means at least 100 new planets, right?
Mike.
I mean,
stop.
Not necessarily.
I would kind of have to agree with Mike here, just because from an artist's perspective, aliens are a lot more fun to draw. Then there would be so many aliens you would encounter. I don't know. I can see either you would.
Well, here the thing is, one thing I really liked about kind of a cool segue into the Starfinder stuff is I really like that most, at least sentient creatures have stats for being played. Like, they're not meant to be player races, but they are meant to be like, hey, look, if you really want to play as one, here's the racials for it. Like the was it contemplative? Let's see. Yeah, we have pulled up.
The giant floating brain.
You can play as it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we have 18 archetypes, 19 themes. Oh, we have well over 100. We have 126.
19 themes is a lot. I feel like that's worth some decent weight in the class architecture argument.
Yeah. But we have 126 races. A lot of them are conversions, though.
It's 1 for 6. Like,
and,
that's nothing.
We have 1 base class. That's not a conversion. And some other ones are conversions. And all the conversions, other than that one, are from Rogue Genius's was it Starfire Companion. And they're Bard, Cleric, Magus, Paladin, Ranger, Witch, and Wizard.
Yeah. I briefly looked at that. It looked cool. I was like, I should read the Starfinder book before I
well, the Starfinder book also feels like it's kind of the Starfinder Companion, or was it Wayfire's Companion, whatever it's called.
Starfire's Companion.
There you go. Owen's involved in it. Owen was involved in Starfinder, and it came out like as one of the first products, and it covers like all the legacy issues. So it kind of feels like
most of the legacy issues.
Legacy, yeah. But it kind of feels like this is totally not Paizo. Remember, it's not Paizo. It's like not third party. It's like, I don't know, 1.5 party.
He was ready, like when the gates opened. He was like, "Here's the Starfire's Companion. Here's an adventure for Starfinder."
Yeah, and I'm like, really? That's third party? Okay, that sounds first party to me, but what do I know?
The lines get a little blurry sometimes.
Yeah. But anyway,
2.5 party.
Yeah.
Okay, so D&D 5e news and speculation. I don't know if we mentioned it the other time we were on, but they did release a Magic the Gathering adventure that is free.
I feel like we mentioned it in passing. I don't remember if we had
No, we had the dinosaur, right?
Yeah, it did. Okay, so we did mention it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't got
my D&D news is that since I'm writing a character who used to be level 10 before he was cursed, I'm going to be filling out his level 10 character sheet because I'm too invested. Like, yep, nope, this is how badass he was. He'll never be this badass ever again. But, this was a thing.
Are you using the Infernal Cleric domain or something else?
No, he's a warlock, so I'll be going with the Fiend as his patron.
All right, that makes good sense.
We've also been discussing, in my group, we put a lot of emphasis on what does your magic taste like. So we established that his previous magic tasted like wood smoke and red hots, and his current magic, now that he's been cursed and gets his powers from Bahamut, his current magic tastes like Sensodyne.
Oh,
Yeah. He was
That's
real grumpy
unfortunate.
about it. It is. Oh wow. But yeah, that's my 5 years. It's very deep.
I don't think I have anything new coming out now. Just Book of Exalted Darkness. No, that's not out. Valiant Tour should be out soon. I don't know when. Maybe it came out and you just forgot to tell me about it.
Maybe. Not like it news, but if anyone wants to check out the Unearthed Arcana for the Celestial Warlock Patron, it looks pretty good. I hope that it makes it into an official book soon.
Still not out yet. I don't know. It might have made it into Xanathar's. I still haven't looked at Xanathar's either.
Actually, now that I think about it, it might have, because someone's like, hey, is it any relationship to this thing I found in Xanthar's? And I'm like,
Probably.
I bet you it is. Yay. Oh, I bet there's pictures.
Pictures.
Yeah. You get to heal people. Like, that's the big new thing for the Celestial Patron.
Well, it's been pretty quiet then on the D&D 5e front, aside from Kickstarters, I think. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, aside from other media, but we'll talk about that in a second. Other RPG news. So there's a bunch of best of and top stories things on Ian World. So if you want to get a quick rundown of the year highlights, go to Ian World. And
There
then,
we go.
The Patreon kerfuffling. We touched on this last week, right?
We
Very
vaguely did.
slightly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we basically said, hey, look, they're upping the fees and shit, and it hurts low tier donations a lot.
They went backwards on that.
Yeah,
now.
yep. And we
Yes.
talked about, hey, yeah, that was a pretty cool job you did there. Like, yeah, they still fucked up, but at least they're kind of admitting their mistake and owning it.
I don't know how many people like have Patreons recovered in their numbers and stuff. Like I think Jacob Blackman
lost,
actually came out with more.
We lost one patron, I think, maybe 2.
Okay.
I follow a bunch of artists forums on this. And of course, the artists were up in arms about it because there's a lot of people who support a whole lot of artists at $1 to $5, and they were going to get really hit hard by it. Some people have recovered, some haven't. I'm in the same boat. I've only lost one patron so far, thank goodness, and I got another one to supplement. So far, so good. But I don't think everybody is fully recovered yet now. I think they will, though. I think
that's good.
as long as Patreon doesn't have any other missteps, I think everybody will eventually settle back up.
Let me see. There's a Patreon tracker thingy. I wonder how Ian Insider is doing. Yeah, Graphtreon. That's what it's fucking called. Insider. That's the biggest one that I'm affiliated with. Oh, okay. Well, they were already on a downward trend. But they went from, what day was the announcement? November 30th?
Don't know. Sounds
Something like that, I think.
1st? I think it was December 1st because they lost about 40 patrons or so, and they have not regained those. They're still sitting pretty, but, Yeah. All right, well, we'll see how the rest of that goes. Like I said, I'm still waiting for Kickstarter's DRIP or whatever drip program. Then maybe I'll try something.
Yeah. So, we'll move into the other media of interest.
Other media of interest. Yeah, D&D movie has a release date.
I'm holding my breath as we've discussed before with some movie critics on this channel, or on this on this channel in past episodes. I want it to be good, man. I really want it to be good, but like, there wasn't like some Peter Jackson level announcement of, guys, we're really doing this right. It's just like, guys, we have the license. Yay! Here's a date.
It's 4 years away, though. I mean, that's
On my
that's an
birthday,
enormous amount of time for production.
Well, that just means it hasn't really started, is what it means. Except
That
in,
means
like,
a script. There's a script.
Yeah,
They
there's a
wouldn't make an
script, but
announcement
How many times
if
does
they
it go through revision? Come on, how many times do they throw it out and do it again?
I mean, it depends on who wrote the script and who the production company is. But I mean, the fact that there is a script means that there's money coming in. It means that there's assets being acquired and located and
No, I gotcha.
scheduled.
I got the
Locations,
production side of
shootings,
things.
like they're getting their fucking permits. Like, yeah, it takes, yeah.
I got
Before-
you. But I'm saying, like, to me, it seems like they didn't think of. They released it with a announcement they're doing something else too. It was D&D and something else. What was the other license they had too?
G.I. Joe or some shit.
Yeah, and it just felt like, hey guys, look, we have these licenses. Like, I want this to be good. It's releasing on my goddamn birthday, so I really am like, give me a good birthday gift, guys. Don't be a dick about this and make this like just a cheap.
Well, when it's
package.
bad, I'm gonna blame you and your birthday, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead. My birthday can't get any worse.
See, that sounds perfect.
It's so hard for me to think of what a great D&D movie would look like, though. I mean, there's such a wealth. The world is so large for them to draw from that where do you even start in finding the story you want to tell?
I do Dragonlance. There are some decent Dragonlance animated stuff. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. I would do. It's called Record of Lodos War.
Yeah,
And
damn.
I've gone on rants about Record of Lodos War before, but it was this dude took D&D to Japan, started like a little local gaming group, and then became like a serialized in a magazine for computers, and then became a manga, and then became an anime, and now it's like MMORPG that is really shitty. But then
Only if they keep the crazy ears.
Yeah.
the crazy elf ears. Yeah, that was it. That was the one. Yes.
So, you know
That would
what
be
I would,
perfect.
you know what I wouldn't hate, and I know it's gotten like way oversaturated recently, but one of my favorite campaigns I've ever played in adventures was Expedition Castle Ravenloft. Like if they did it like legit, like here's the Burgermeister, and like
No,
you really
dude.
bit down on it and you did your full thing. You get a Knight of the Raven in there. I don't know, man. I'd be
Yeah.
pumped for that.
I feel like the Van Helsing movies are already doing that for you.
Hey man, I could always take another Van Helsing,
Yeah.
but I feel like
I don't know.
it could be done a little bit better here.
I would hope that they. I mean, like my money is on them going to Greyhawk again, or Dragonlance, because Dragonlance has the larger like viewership fan base. I don't think you're gonna see Ravenloft.
No, I
I'd
don't think
like-
I'm gonna see it. You asked me what I would like to see.
I would like to see Forgotten Realms, but there's just no way. There's no way because they'd be competing with Lord of the Rings if they did Forgotten Realms. Maybe Eberron.
Maybe
That would be fucking dope. I'd be
Maybe
about
off
that.
Aim, right?
I'm suspicious if they did Eberron.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
want some dungeon punk in your life? I think it'd be great.
I mean, like it would have to be done the same way that Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow was done. Did you see Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow?
I have
That's
not.
like a genre film is a genre
aesthetic,
film, though. You know.
Well, I mean, so I was gonna, Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow had this really cool deco punk like aesthetic like the whole way through, but it was in the very beginning of Hollywood embracing green screens, so it
Yeah.
looks cheesy as shit.
I said, dude, that's like I said. It's a genre film.
Well, no, I mean, if they were to do it today, I think they could give Eberron justice. You should check out guys if you haven't seen it.
I have,
Captain
I
Sky,
have.
it's good. Well, Savannah said she hadn't. Like it's worth seeing, Savannah. It's pretty good. Like-
What?
I'll put it on the list.
It's got. Don't you like Jude Law? I think he's in it. I feel like
So-
you said something about Jude Law in front of me before.
So I don't know. See, Eberron to me, the thing that always interested me is the we are dungeon punk, and I love that. And I'm gonna go say what every Hollywood executive has been saying: make it like Guardians of the Galaxy. But I could totally see like a rock heavy like Eberron thing, getting your Warforged all up in there and everything. And just kind of grooving with it, you know, like get that 80s aesthetic, do it like Thor Ragnarok or whatever, man. Like,
Do you guys ever see the movie with Bill Murray as like the mayor of the underground town?
what was the movie?
Now I gotta look it up.
It's not ringing any bells.
It was very obscure because it did not do very well. Underground City. Yeah, what the fuck is this? City of Ember?
Yeah,
It's called City
I
of
saw it.
Ember. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
could
like
see that a little bit. Yeah, I could see it.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's that far out of reach.
You know who should do the D&D movie? Luke fucking Besson.
I don't know. I know about
Fifth Element, dude.
if I got to pick somebody, I'd pick fucking Gilliam in a second. Like no fucking hesitation. Tara Gilliam, 100%.
I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
So, dim Kickstarters.
Sure.
Mike, we
Okay.
got on a movie tangent again.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to talk about the creature codex you were talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. Take it away, Indy/Scott.
Indy, go for it.
Oh, I pretty much said everything I was going to say about it.
Well, was there anything specific that you liked? Design choices?
Hold
We're
on,
not
I'm
throwing
pulling
it
it
under
back.
the bus, are we? A little bit.
Well, there's
maybe.
a fine line between accidentally throwing someone under the bus and giving them room to talk, so...
I'm very attracted to glow in art, and unfortunately, I was looking for the artists on here. They're at the very bottom. Brian Syme, William O'Brien, and Marcel Mercado. It looks like are the three artists on here. And their work actually reminds me a lot of Hardy Fowler, who did a lot of the art in Malifaux, which I thought was a gorgeous book aesthetically. And I'm a little bit biased, but I always pick up books for art. I have Malifaux. I've gathered a whole lot of books just for the art, since for the future, when I find a game again, I'll crack them open. But for now, they're just beautiful.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like a 3.5-ish feel.
A little bit. It's got that sort of plastic 80s feel to it.
Yeah. That's kind of that thing where they don't do the full background. They kind of do that like spike of color in the center and it fades out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The creatures behind them had that. Like the scenery, you can see it a little bit and then it just fades in the back. Actually, I just thought of something Kickstarter related. Do you have anything more to say on that?
I don't. Go ahead.
Okay. So, what does Sean Astin and Wesley Snipes have to do with each other?
The fact that Roan Barton is apparently friends with them and they're making an RPG together?
Yeah, no, it's they're kickstartering it, and I think they said it's Starfinder? It's called Grimmer Space? Yeah, it's crazy, and like no one, like, I would not be thinking, man, let's go ahead and get those two guys to like sit in the same place and write an RPG setting for Starfire. Like, that's just weird to me. Like, I kind of want to go on this roller coaster though. They said they're
It sounds exciting.
And I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. Sign me up for this either grandiose shit show or like magnificent triumph. I don't really care which. I just want to see where this goes. Can we make this a trend, like having celebrities just write D&D settings? Like D20
No, that
settings?
sounds terrible.
Oh, it'd be so bad, but I really want Tim Curry to write one.
I'm sort of surprised that Vin Diesel hasn't come out with something.
Yeah, well, so weird thing, I actually had I kind of wouldn't want to work on his thing because I had a professor in college who worked on a game and he ran the studio kind of officially. And apparently he's a super cool guy, but a super terrible boss to work for. And I love me some Vin Diesel. He's a pretty cool dude, but like apparently he just does not know how this stuff works and has that kind of rock star like, well, why didn't you do this 20 minutes ago deal going on? Why didn't you know what I was thinking? So
yeah, see, I feel like that would be most of the problem of have celebrities write RPGs.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, and also I don't think that a lot of them could write worth a crap, frankly. So
see, here, can we just have celebrities narrate books then? Like I have Tim Curry do it.
Tom Hiddleston is an amazing narrator. So good.
Oh, you know who was great? Littlefinger. From Game of Thrones.
Right, I know the character, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I tried to throw out Peter Baelish, but that's also the character,
yeah,
so
Peter,
I can't.
Yeah, Peter Baelish. He narrated like pretty much as Littlefinger, The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Oh, that's good.
And it was free for a while on Audible, and I'm just like, this is the most dramatic, like, makes me feel like I want to like crawl, like scrub myself, like scrub my skin, like reading of The Art of War that I've ever heard.
How many readings of The Art of War have you heard?
That's actually, I actually said that for a reason. I've listened to at least 3 and read several. I used to have a pocketbook-sized one that was like, actually not like the size of a cell phone, but like it was square, so it was like really small. I had one of those.
Yeah, my dad has one.
Yeah, but then I listened to a few because they're available on LibriVox. Anyway, we got off topic, didn't we?
A little bit.
Never.
That's okay. Vaguely.
Super
So
science
yes,
friends.
yeah, Super Science Friends just sort of vaguely caught my eye. I'm not deeply emotionally invested, but it
Yet.
looks like I'm here for the traveling through time fighting Nazi clones. So
I hear Mike would be too.
yes,
I am always down to fight Nazis. There's a free demo.
yeah,
Is it Flash? Tell me it's Flash. I don't want to download something.
it's probably Flash. But yeah, I think that's Tesla there on the front doing the whole like exploding electricity attack. Yeah, no, the art just looks very charming. The concept is very silly. You get to fight Nazis. Like it's win-win-win.
They're on YouTube. They have an animated show on YouTube. What? What?
Well, we know what Mike's doing later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll watch Super Science Friends. Sorry.
I love that animation style too. It's super nostalgic.
Like, I can't look at this because I have my computer doing this, but it feels like this would be an Adventure Time type of thing.
The art looks sort of Adventure Time-esque.
Okay, so
I feel like it looks a little bit more Hark a Vagrant.
Okay.
But they're not dissimilar.
Reminds me too of the guy who does China, Illinois, and that other weirdly named show.
I shouldn't be surprised that there's a China, Illinois.
There's in Jupiter, Florida.
I've been to Jupiter, Florida. It was like a lot of Florida and depressing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's in Florida, so.
Yeah. All right, what's this dark fantasy business?
So yeah, it's apparently a bundle of RPGs. So I feel like it's a little bit odd to see it on Kickstarter, but bundle of RPGs, 7 of them are like haven't been released before. Part of what I'm interested in is that it's got the Pathfinder logo and all that jazz. I'm sort of wondering where they went with their dark fantasy because, as we mentioned before, like Book of Exalted Evil would never get through. So
Exalted Darkness, but yes, it would. We do.
Yes. Why do I keep saying Exalted Evil? It sounds better. Damn it! Alliteration.
No. It has to be Exalted.
I know it's not classic, but it has alliteration.
I love alliteration too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was just really wondering where they drew their line.
I mean, like, Grim is fine, but not, like, Eat Children. Baby Eater 3, the sim would not appear in Starfinder either.
Right, no, that's fair. Yeah, and I mean, they have, like, flayed faces, but as far as I know, they are not children faces. Little hard to tell at this point.
Yeah, I don't...
But,
child and kid and youth do not show up anywhere on the Kickstarter page, so they're good on that front at least.
Yeah. I am continually vaguely confused of Paizo's choice to make the iconic kineticist the child. Anyway, not the topic. But yeah, that's all I got for Kickstarter.
Say not as I do.
But yeah, that's all I got for Kickstarters.
My favorite video game creator is Richard Garriott, and he got into hot water multiple times because in all of his Ultima games, there would always be a segment where the adventurer would have to kill children for whatever.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. At one point in, I want to say Ultima 4, you had to open. If you chose to, you found a whole bunch of kids, like poor orphan kids, in a prison, and if you released them, they all attacked you, and you had to kill them or they would kill you.
That's not bad.
He agrees with Mike that it's not off limits in gaming.
Fuck yes.
I was watching a Let's Play of Unforgiving, a Northern Hymn, and these people have been infected with a magical thing that turns them into tree people, like stuck in place tree people.
Okay.
And yeah, no, you have to set a tree baby on fire.
Yay, murder.
Yeah, it's like you have to like go through here, you can't get by, like, and you can't just light them on fire. You have to go get the gasoline. It's like,
You're fired.
One day when we're not on air, remind me to tell you about the playtest that went, oh my god, so wrong.
Okay. I will do that.
I don't want to be arrested.
That's reasonable.
Okay, well, what free topic, Indy? What do you want to talk about?
I had a comment in here that simply said art.
Wait, you want to talk about art? I think we're going to talk about editing.
I actually love editing. I'm editing a novel right now. It's I love both worlds. I love the world of words and I love the world of pictures, and it's really hard. I've never been able to just choose one. I always feel best when I'm able to work on both.
See, I draw too, but mine are just stick figures that my artists tell me to stop drawing and sending to them.
The same sort of like when Mike does the art briefs in NS Paint, my changes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. From an artist perspective, what do you guys look for in hiring artists for your pieces?
Mike, you want to go first?
I'm bowing out of this one because I don't hire people. Take it away, guys.
I honestly didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't really have any topics prepared.
Oh, no. It's not bad.
Can I be that?
Adaptability is a very worthwhile trait. Hitting your deadlines is super important.
That seems to be the consensus. Is the deadlines part is really
I'm
really.
Gonna be that asshole and say, your budget has to line up with my price range, or my budget has to line up with what you can do. And there have been times I've told people, look, you are a fantastic artist. I need a worse artist than you, so I can pay them a legitimate salary for this. Like a legitimate
I don't keep hiring indie because it's not worth it.
No, I got
prices aren't good.
There's some artists I'm like, look, man, I can afford one piece from you, and I will, and here's a cover slot for you, but like, I'm gonna give the 5 pieces to this person because I can't afford 5 more pieces from you.
It's such a hard thing determining as an artist where to set your rates.
And, yeah, and again, we have people who work with us, and I always make sure to pay. My thing is, if I'm gonna hire you, I pay you ahead of time. That's something I've always done. But yeah, in terms of actual qualities, having a defined style is important. Or you said adaptability, even if it's just, hey, I can do these 3 styles really well. Here's 3 examples of them. Or here's 10 styles or 20 styles or whatever. But just being able to lock that in is very important for me.
Well, and then like it depends on the project too. So, one of the things that Indy did well was making her artwork fit in the context of the rest of the artwork in Miss Akuma, which was either ukiyo-e, Jacob Blackman's heavy line work, or Nathaniel Batchelor's heavy line work, and then that super light shit that Sarah Shijo does. And you did a really excellent fucking job doing that. Like, all the pieces fit together, and then we did this dynamic between half pages done by Sarah and half pages done by Indy, and it just, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it so much ahead of time, but the synergy that you managed to achieve with that style was particularly good.
I love freelance. I love freelance gaming art more than anything else, because it really is fascinating to be. I loved the Book of Exalted Darkness because it was just me and I could keep it relatively consistent because it was all just me. That was pretty easy. I really like working with some of my favorite moments have been when I'm working with a writer or another set of artists, and they've set the style. Perhaps I'm not the primary artist, so they've set the style, and I'm trying to make sure that my pieces feel consistent. And a lot of times I'll learn a lot through those projects. My favorite moments are when I'm working with a writer and something I do in like a preliminary sketch or line art or whatever, at some point through the process, informs how they write the character, or they maybe see something that I've added and they decide to make that like a magical item. And I just think when those things come together, it's just magical. I haven't encountered that outside of this industry as much as I do in this one.
You can't see me, but I'm nodding as you're speaking. One thing you mentioned earlier, Indy, challenges that Mike has given you. I can't remember if I told this story when another artist was on, but I had this guy who will remain nameless who kept bugging me for an art commission, and I really didn't like his style, and I just did not enjoy working with him. He was very abrasive, and I'm like, all right, I got this insane piece that I need to get done. and it had something to do with removing your heart, encasing it in crystal, and using it like a lightsaber. And I described.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and I described it to him, and he's like, "Well, I can't do that." I'm like, "Well, I don't need you then." And he's like, "Well, I'll try." And he sent me like a sketch of like a 10-minute sketch, and he's like half done. He's like, "I can't do it. Screw you. Go away." I'm like, "Yes, yes."
That escalated quickly.
Oh, I was excited because he would stop bugging me. I'm like, "Hey, man," next time he contacted me, I was like, "Hey, man, do you ever get that done?" And he's like, "No, I didn't. Go away."
I didn't even realize that was an option. Hey, Mike. Screw you. I'm not
Sorry, Mike, teaching your artist bad habits.
Don't ruin my artist, Scott. God damn it.
So, Indi,
Professional hazard.
another thing that I like with artists, I'm a historical recreationist guy. I go on the weekends to meet people with stuff, with metal weapons and whatever. I like armor porn. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I look for is, man, can you do armor right? Or, hey, look, do you know, or even on a more technical level, hey, do you know how to do non-static poses? Or perspectives? Those are important. And can you keep that armor looking nice? Thank you.
Yeah, those are all really important.
I got lucky. I'm working with Rui, who is also does the same thing. I didn't realize it, but when I first hired him, I contacted him on DeviantArt, and I went, "Hey, man, that's some awesome armor porn. Can I hire you to draw a bunch of characters for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
That's awesome. It's heartening to hear for other artists to hear that you can actually get picked up for work on DeviantArt. I hear that from a lot of artists that you just don't find work.
That's where I look.
Yeah, I've gotten quite a few from there. You just have to keep your gallery slimmed down to your best pieces and update constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever had anybody from, maybe one or two people from DeviantArt got back to me when oh no, Elliot Goodson. I think that's the only guy. No, wait, I got that from Mike. No, I never got anybody from DeviantArt. I tried, but it never worked out.
People. I felt really bad for Necropunk when I was writing it. I needed a bunch of art, and I was like, "All right, hey man, you already drove through this piece, and it's been in your gallery for 2 years. Can I pay you $50 to use it for like a one-off?" And a bunch of people were like, "Yeah," and a bunch of them I actually ended up hiring for their projects.
There you go.
So yeah, keep doing it, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Half them I know I can't afford, but that's okay.
Yeah. Someday.
All right. Well, it looks like we are coming up on time.
All right.
We are.
Well, Indi, once again, thank you for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Everybody
Always
in
good to have an artist POV.
Yep. Instead of me like blabbering and Savanna trying to rein us in.
Well, you know.
All right, guys. Once again, thanks for joining us, and have a nice night.